Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, how are you? Good, I hope I can't hear you respond, but I hope you're doing good. My name's Connor. If you're new, hello. Preemptive like. Now, PFBS Forces News. Ultralight Evolys. A future machine gun for the British Army. Or for the British Army, question mark? I'm still waking up, and I don't have coffee. I should honestly just go get one. And I will, after. It looks cool. That's about the limit of how I can judge guns, because I don't know much at all about them, but that looks pretty cool. Let's go. Sounds powerful.
It handles like a rifle, but with machine gun firepower. This is the FN Evolys.
It's a long way off yet, but the GPMG is expected to go out of service in 2035. When the MOD goes out to tender for its replacement and defines the requirements, it'll be under Project Cairns. There will be several options, and we're taking a close look at a possible contender.
I wonder if any power is sacrificed, because that second machine gun looks a little bit stronger.
Options, and we're taking a
Looks
close
like a
look
BAR
at a possible contender.
The FN Evolys is an ultralight assault machine gun. Currently we operate with the GPMG, the L7A2 in service. And that really was never designed as an assaulting rifle. It kind of
more
carries
stationary.
around 11 kilogram, a 24.8 inch barrel, which is very long to bear to arms. And when you consider the warfare now, in terms of CQB, FWAF, the jungle environment, you don't want a weapon that long for a start. You don't want that a weapon that heavy. That's not good for the guy that's carrying. So, where the Evolys comes in, it's a lot shorter, depending on the caliber. The 5.56mm gun is 14-inch barrel, and the 7.62 iteration is a 16-inch barrel, so quicker to bear to arms. I'd say the FN Evolys is a real game changer.
Guys, question. I've heard, this sounds like a myth, because it does make sense. I've heard that the longer a barrel is, like the more powerful the shot can be. I can see how it would help with accuracy, but how would a longer barrel affect the power of a bullet? Did I just hear nonsense and that's not true?
16-inch barrel, so quicker to bear to arms. I'd say the FN Evolys is a real game changer. It'll enhance the capability now to fire at night with an optic, with an inline sight, with a thermal. Very clever hydraulic buffer system inside, which will manage a very steady recoil for the firer. And given that it's got such firepower, ergonomics, really where it kind of sits aside from what we've seen in the past, with its innovative design of a single piece monolithic top.
Is that a safety? What is that? Guys, is an iron sight just any aiming tool instrument on the top of the barrel that isn't a scope? Like, is that all the qualifications for an iron sight? You're not looking through a piece of glass.
Rail is that you now can have an optic on the gun with an inline sight. In the service now in the UK, we have LDS as a primary weapon sight, and then a SWES, which can fit in line on the top of that gun, and no longer do you need to lift up a top cover and kind of slap it up and down, so to speak, when you're going through them weapon drills, and loosening the zero and possibly losing it. And I suppose the so what to that is that when you're going through the battlefield, on fire and manoeuvre, then you continue on your mission as part of the section and maintaining momentum in the firefight, which is amazingly important to make sure you're progressing through the battlefield as you'd like. It's got a side feed, so very clever and kind of innovative design. So open up on a side door as opposed to a top cover. You'll feed the rounds in from the side, not the bottom, as we've seen in historic designs, and certainly not into the feed tray with the top cover. The importance of that really is momentum on the battlefield, and through your pairs fire manoeuvre or your section fire team, wherever it might be, to what level, you can continue your drills on the move, whereas opposed to what we have seen with machine guns such as the GPMG in service, first thing in a contact on a change of belt, for example, you'd be looking for cover, you'd be getting down to the prone position, very often it'd be a two-handed drill, and then at that point, your section's potentially held up, and you've got a gun that's out of the firefight, and you're losing all that firepower within it. So the Evolys will maintain the momentum that essentially you can carry out your drills on the move, which is certainly a good thing for the user individually, the fire team, the section, the platoon.
What? Why though? So it's just the fact that it's on the side of the gun instead of the bottom that it's so much better? That's it? I promise I listened to him.
Momentum on the battlefield, and through your pairs fire manoeuvre or your section fire team, wherever it might be, to what level, you can continue your drills on the move, whereas opposed to what we have seen with machine guns such as the GPMG in service. First thing in contact on a change of belt, for example, you'd be looking for cover, you'd be getting down to the prone position, very often it'd be a two-handed drill, and then at that point, your section's potentially held up, and you've got a gun that's out of the firefight, and you're losing all that firepower within it. So the Evolys will maintain the
just because of the side loading.
Momentum that essentially you can carry out your drills on the move, which is certainly a good thing for the user individually, the fire team, the section, the platoon, or whatever fire unit they're fighting within.
It was really lightweight in terms of my perception, what I was expecting.
The 5.56 Evolys is 5.5 kilogram, 5.5 kilogram. The 7.62 version is 6.2 kilogram. GPMG is around 10.9 kilogram. So you're essentially having the weight of the weapon at about 60% of what you are carrying at the moment. Much more manoeuvrable for the firer, and offers an added capability now in terms of the single shot capability on that machine gun that we haven't got in service with the GPMG.
And Project Cairns isn't the only project this system might be suitable for. Earlier this year, procurement officials at the MOD issued an open tender to purchase a new lightweight assault machine gun for dismounted troops under Project Troubler. The spec is for a 5.56 lightweight assault machine gun. Forces News understands that Troubler is still being considered by the Army.
Once that's on there now.
After seeing how the experts handle the Evolys, now is the time to give it a go.
I'm jealous.
Bang in the middle of the two running men, so if that's our two running men.
Yeah. And for a beginner like me, thankfully it felt
I'll
pretty
react to that,
straightforward.
sure. Sorry guys, I'll react to that, sure. That was my other video getting uploaded. Sorry for that interruption.
Yeah. And for a beginner like me, thankfully it felt pretty straightforward.
Mate, you're looking good there. Yeah, well done, Chan.
Thank you.
Good job, mate.
Okay, Stevie, after action review, how did I get on with the Evolys?
Yeah, Sean, I thought you were really good. I mean, given that you hadn't seen the weapon this morning and let alone fired it, you picked it up really quickly, really intuitive. Firing from the left shoulder as well, which was good because it's an ambidextrous machine gun. And yeah, you had a good margin of your rounds in the centre of the target. So yeah.
What would a non-ambidextrous machine gun look like? Maybe are there just some awkward things on a certain side of the gun for left-handers to shoot with?
And yeah, you had a good margin of your rounds in the centre of the target. So yeah, well done.
Whether something like this will eventually be in the hands of personnel is unclear. As always, procurement decisions never happen fast. But when they tell us, we'll be the first to tell you. Sian Gweszczek, Melbourne, BFBS Forces News, Bisley Shooting Ground.
I gotta say, as someone who's as far away from a gun expert as possible, I'll admit that. I am surprised by the power that it seems to be firing, given how also light it looks to me. I'm really wondering if there are any drawbacks. Like, are any drawbacks it has? Like, does it have slightly less power than the former one that it's a machine gun that they're trying to replace, but everything else about it that's better vastly outweighs it? Or does it lose no power or even gain some? I'd be curious to know. So interesting. Love these types of videos, guys. Hope everyone's doing well. Would appreciate any comments down below. Hit all the buttons. Would appreciate any answers to any questions I had. You guys are always great. Hopefully I'll see you next time. We'll keep on learning together. Bye, guys.